American Gladiators. Selected from a nationwide search, 20 men and women have come to Hollywood to challenge our force of American Gladiators for a single honor, to become American Gladiators champions. Now, here are your American Gladiators: Gemini, Lace, Nitro, Gold, Laser, Blaze, Thunder, Ice, Turbo, and Diamond. The host for American Gladiators, Mike Hadley, and his co-host, Larry Zonka.
Welcome once again to Universal Studios Hollywood and another edition of the American Gladiators, where our semifinal round is about to begin. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Adamley, along with NFL Hall of Famer number 39 from the Miami Dolphins, Mr. Larry Zonka.
Hi, Mike.
Larry, when this competition began, there were 20 contenders. Now there are just 8, 4 men and 4 women. And in terms of getting to know one another, well, prior to the prelims, the Gladiators and contenders didn't know anything about one another. Now there are no more secrets.
And more importantly, they even know each other's strategies. And you throw the Gladiators in there in the same kind of circumstance, and you mix that cake all up, and what it adds up to is a great competition.
A great semifinal round, and let's meet the contenders for this semifinal round.
In our women's semifinals, please welcome back Maria Nickteen of Cincinnati, Ohio, a human services worker, and her opponent, Cinda Metzer of Salt Lake City, Utah, a microbiologist. In the men's competition, this is John Adams of Oakland, California, an account representative. And his opponent, Chris VOPATEK of La Jolla, California, a student at San Diego State and a bouncer.
Cindy, you told me that before this competition began, your friends had a nickname for you. They called you Toothpick. Well, no longer. You're now in the semifinals, and you hit like a bona fide Louisville slugger. Tell me if you think that the Gladiators may have underestimated you because of your size and build.
Well, since I've been here, I feel that I've been underestimated by everybody, but it's not a secret anymore that I'm tougher than I look.
Chris, I know one thing that has served you well in this competition is your go-forward attitude, and I imagine you can trace that back to your days in high school and college where you were a very successful pole vaulter.
Yeah, and pole vaulting, you got to go for it. When you throw your body up in the air like that, you can't be worried about scratch knees and stuff like that. You got to go for it.
Speed, power, technique. You're also a doorman down at a San Diego nightclub, so I guess it's fair to say that you're used to dealing with big men?
Yeah, uncooperative ones, too.
Well, I guarantee you the Gladiators plan to be mighty uncooperative today. Larry?
Maria, we were talking backstage before we came out. I understand that some of your time off between shows, you went back to Cincinnati, and they kind of gave you a send-off, almost a parade.
Yeah, they had a big send-off for me before I came out here in the middle of the city, and like my fellow employees were there, my softball team, and like teachers that from back in high school. A lot of people were there to give me support, and I really want to thank them because it's helped me. It really has. It made me nervous, but...
Yeah, you look like you're right at home here in the competition. John, your background in martial arts, marathon running, I think these things have really helped you during the course of the competition.
Absolutely, Larry. These guys are incredible athletes. I intended to come down here and just kind of outpower them. From day one, it was obvious that I was going to have to change my tactic a little bit and start taking the mental route and try and outthink them. And the martial arts and also the marathon, it's a mental game, and so that definitely helped me out.
Good luck today, John. Maria, Mike?
Well, the Gladiators have that lean and mean look in their eyes, and Maria, let's hope they don't rain on your parade. Best of luck to everyone. Let the games begin. This is how our competition works on the American Gladiators. Our contenders, 2 men and 2 women, will compete against the American Gladiators in 7 very different events. Now, the contenders who amass the most points in those 7 rigorous confrontations automatically now advance to the championship final. At stake, over $150,000 in cash and prizes. We're set to go now with our first event. It's the men's assault. Here's Zonk with the rundown.
In assault, each contender has 60 seconds to hit a target with a crossbow, then a rocket launcher, a cannon, a pistol, and a final attempt with 3 softballs. 4 points can be earned if a contender crosses a finish line without getting hit.
But as always, Larry, the Gladiators will be manning the big-time weapon, a device that fires tennis balls in excess of 100 miles an hour. Shooting honors first for the Gladiators goes to Laser. He'll be up against John Adams, who advanced to the semifinal round by beating Purple Roundy. John makes his home in Oakland, California. He's a brown belt in judo and a very tough competitor. Laser wasting no time showing John who's boss, trying to pick him off early. Whoa!
Who's trying to pick who off?
Once again, the idea here to hit the target above the Gladiator, not the Gladiator himself.
What was that again, Mike?
Laser finally said, okay, John, you want to play that way? I'm going to nail you. And he did.
As you can see, John starts off. I'm not sure if John's aware of the rules here. He's trying to take Laser out. Once with a crossbow, there you can see the rocket coming through. But Laser gets the last laugh as he tags John just as he's approaching the cannon.
So, perfect opportunity for Chris VOPATEK to take the early lead. He made the semifinal round by beating Wesley Keck in the quarters. Chris makes his home in La Jolla, California, an outstanding collegiate pole vaulter.
Laser doesn't look too intimidated. Just a little off to the left.
Now behind that third safe zone, the cannon, yeah! Third time's the charm for Chris VOPATEK.
Chris making his way over to the cannon, has it set exactly where he wants it, and tags the bottom of the bullseye.
Laser turned around and knew he was a dead man. So Chris takes the early lead. A long way to go, however, on American Gladiator. Still to come, the joust, our wall event. But up next, women's assault.
Gator off his platform, earning 10 points. Chris, who is in the lead, told us earlier how he got involved in American Gladiators.
Older brother was the guy who kind of got me going. He's the one who got me out for American Gladiators. He was the guy who always beat on me as a kid and made me as tough as I am today.
Chris's older brother actually tried out for the American Gladiators but didn't make the cut. But Chris is here. His first assignment to knock Turbo off that pedestal. Not an easy chore. Turbo a big man. And very aggressive early on. But Chris has got him going backward, and that's a shocker. VOPATEK wins in about 3 seconds.
Chris getting in a lucky shot, knocking Turbo off the back of the platform.
Chris, our friends from the Marine Corps couldn't have taught you that much in that short a time period.
I don't know. They kind of pulled the fear away a little bit. But going away from Turbo, I think what it was fear and adrenaline. That's all I had.
It has worked in some events, and in some events it hasn't worked so well, but obvious that the VOPA technique in evidence here, huh?
It helped, yeah. We brought that out of that fishing.
Not to mention the VOPA techniques over there. Congratulations, Chris.
Chris, a happy guy as Turbo gathers himself up and gets back up on the platform. Now he's going to face off with John, who needs to get some points on the board.
You heard Chris make reference to our Marine drill instructors. They've been here behind the scenes working overtime to help our contenders and help Chris there. Doesn't help John. I don't know where he got that technique.
A little backhand flipped John right off. You see, John's going to pivot and go on the attack, but instead, he pivots himself right off the platform. With the win in the joust, Chris now takes a commanding lead over John after 2 events.
Line.
Montana.
Not until I make it to the top.
John Adams has made it to the top in his 2 previous attempts. Now tried out to...
the wall. Many times the contenders will encounter angles that'll put their back at 45-degree angles with the studio floor, which means the forces of gravity will come into even greater play. This is the one event where the contenders hope that Sir Isaac Newton was only part right. What goes up must come down, but not right away, not until I make it to the top.
John Adams has made it to the top in his 2 previous attempts. Now try to outdistance Gemini.
Breathing down his neck. He'll be breathing down his neck where we fall.
Gemini looks like he's ready to go. And Chris will be followed up the wall by Thunder as he attempts to increase his lead over John, which now stands at 17-zip after 2 events.
Larry, I get the feeling that both Thunder and Gemini, if they had their druthers, they just as soon shake the wall and shake the contenders off. Forget about climbing up after them. Both contenders given a 10-second head start. Here come the Gladiators. Here come Gemini and Thunder. Chris in the blue, John in the red. Side by side. This is going to be extremely close.
Both race right to the top. They both get there. It appeared that John was a little bit ahead of Chris.
Dead heats are only supposed to happen in track and field and horse races, but we nearly had one here on the wall. Chris VOPATEK, 32 seconds. John Adams, 31 seconds. And you reached the top almost simultaneously. How aware of John were you? Were you aware that this was a race?
Yeah, I glanced over and I saw him reaching up for the top. I knew I had to give it one more last shot, and I jumped up, grabbed that last handhold, and started pulling. I thought I had him, but he pulled it out. Way to go, John.
Looked like you got about 4 or 5 climbs left in you. Congratulations, 32 seconds. Unbelievable. You were 1 second more unbelievable, John.
Yeah, well, Chris has done exceptionally well in this event, and so I knew right from the start not only to have the Gladiator on my heels, but I knew Chris was going to be zipping up the wall pretty quickly himself.
The wall is a game of split decisions, and you had to make one there at the very end. Whether to make a lunge, you looked at the grip where it was placed and said, here I go.
Oh, absolutely. The wall, you have to attack it. The longer you're on the wall, the more tired your hands get. So you really have to attack. There's not a lot of room for thinking and debating.
John, congratulations. You're on the scoreboard. You get 10 points. Chris, you get 5, and I know we'll see a lot more toughness from both of you in the events to come.
So John just manages to outscale Chris to claim victory on the wall. After 3 events, John closes the gap on Chris. And over in our women's contest, Maria's got...
Maria will have Blade.
The women's cannonball is up next.
The name of the game now, Human Cannonball. Go. Marie. The 3 events. In our men's battle, Chris leads John and John Adams, the brown belt in judo, told us how competing here has rekindled his athletic spirit.
I would put myself in the category of a frustrated athlete, but it definitely has given me a chance to relive some of my past glories and to kind of get back to what it's all about once again, just getting physical.
And John Adams will try to get physical against Laser first. Chris VOPATEK will be swinging against Nitro. Again, each contender given 2 swings, each successful attempt worth 5 points.
Laser stays up, Nitro comes down. As we get a view from Chris's helmet cam, as he moves in on Nitro, delivers the blow. Nitro in a valiant effort trying to stay on, but goes off.
Well, this time the contenders will switch Gladiators. This time Chris will have to swing against Laser, and John will have to try to nudge Nitro off the pedestal. Ready? Nitro standing low. Laser, that stoic pose that both men went off.
Look at the contortions on Nitro's face just before and at impact. tells it all. So Chris earns a perfect 10 at Human Cannonball and now reclaims the gold margin over John after 4 events. Still to come on American Gladiators is Atmosphere. And our game of Powerball, the Women's Cannonball, is up next.
The name of the game now, Human Cannonball. Gold. Seconds in an attempt to score in any...
Margin stays the same after 4 events. Maria by 8. Over with the men, Chris VOPATEK leads John Adams as the men move on to Atmosphere.
And now, Larry, the contenders and gladiators are going to get a real workout because this event is tough. In Atmosphere, our contenders compete simultaneously for 60 seconds in an attempt to score in any one of 4 red, white, and blue scoring pods. Each score worth 3 points each. Gladiators will attempt to defend by rolling around in their own spheres. Chris VOPATEK from La Jolla, California, being locked inside of his, and now John Adams getting inside of his cage.
Turbo loading into his vehicle, one of our 2 heavyweights in the Gladiator department. There's Thunder, buttoning up, getting ready for the competition.
To the left, over to the right, to the left. I can't think of my mind. I got to turn the ball around. I got to pitch this guy. I got to do this, got to do that. I can't win.
Ready, red. Ready, blue. Gladiators, ready. Waters, ready. Larry, interesting that you call these Atmospheres vehicles because this is much like a demolition derby of sorts.
You'll never convince me that that doesn't look like the LA freeway out there.
There's a scar for John Adams. He settles into his pod. Chris picks up a goal. And now Thunder's got a pin.
John making his move. Is he going to make it? No. He gets bashed out by the Gladiator.
Larry, there's some serious banging going on. It might be a good idea for contenders in the future to wear earplugs.
John takes advantage of the cluster, seizes the moment, and scores a goal.
Chris answers right back. It's 2-2. Or 6-6. Each goal worth 3 points. And that's the way it's going to end. Thunder, nobody seems to get the atmosphere going as well as you do. And I was noticing when you were warming up, you would just move your arm one way or your arm another way, and the ball would move.
Well, if I can use any body part, to my advantage, I'll use it. My ears, my nose. I go this way, I go that way. It doesn't matter. If I can get it to go, it'll go.
Sometimes I get the feeling that even the force of your will, if you could stare at the ball, it'll move.
I don't know so much about that. Maybe it's just the size of my head. I don't know.
A little bit of both. Congratulations, Thunder. Nice work as always.
Take my advice, Thunder. Don't use your nose. As the men roll to a tie in Atmosphere. So now our semifinal score changes to 38-21 in favor of Chris. Maria holds the...
For you, it has to take every inch of...
Still to come on American Gladiators. But up next is our game of Powerball. Chris leads John after 5 events as they prepare to take on Nitro, Laser, and Gemini in Powerball. Our 45-second contest of speed and endurance, where our contenders try to score in any of 5 scoring cylinders.
And Powerball is brought to you by the Nintendo Entertainment System. Nintendo, now you're playing with power. Ready? Right off the bat, Chris with the quick scores.
And gets another. Now he's got the Gladiators' attention.
Let him out, Nitro, let him out.
Yep, they've made the Dragons angry. Oh. Chris doesn't get very far trying to plow through that double team.
Okay, the thing that makes the contenders so vulnerable is when they're holding that ball and trying to score, they really can't defend themselves. They're at the mercy of the Gladiators.
A very physical game of Powerball. The Gladiators feeling their oats. You see Chris trying to score and making the score as he paid a price. And then John going through the double team. He gets to eat a little carpet on that one too.
Chris ate his share as well, but he did win this Powerball matchup 4-0, and it increases his lead over John after 6 events, 42-21. Maria leads our women's semifinals. They prepare to take on gold, diamond, and ice in women's Powerball. Our Gladiators ready to strut their stuff.
Our gang of blonde Gladiators lines up. Pretty impressive lineup.
And Cinna and Maria both with the fresh legs score right off the bat.
And now they're paying the price.
This game wears on you after about 15 seconds. Maria with another goal. Cinna working one-on-one against Diamond, so she scores again. Now they're starting to get leg weary.
As the clock runs out. Cinda looking a little concerned. Maria had pretty much of a smile on her face through the competition, but she looks weary now.
Powerball is a lot of things, but one thing that is not, Cinda, is fair. Your effort out there deserved more than 3 goals worth 6 points.
I think so. All I saw was ice and gold all over the place. But I just gave it my best. Got to win.
You're down by 5 seconds going into the eliminator, and always we know you'll give us a good show. Maria, you were able to distance yourself a little bit from Cinda, and you showed us a move I haven't seen before. I like this.
I owe every point that I made to my boyfriend. This week we practiced this the whole time. Practicing keep my head up and my rear end down and looking for where I want to go and faking and not trying to plow into everybody all the time. It helped.
5 seconds, you need to not give up to Cinda.
You got it. I'm going to give it my all, but it's going to be tough. Let's go.
We're going to have that eliminator final. The American Gladiators continues after this.
A high-scoring affair in women's Powerball helped Maria to increase her lead over Cinda after 6 events. Up next, our final event, the Eliminator.
Down to the eliminator.
Like both contenders, start at the treadmill and must run against the belt in an effort to reach the top. Once there, they must use a specially designed hand bike to work their way across the 30-foot span. Then across the balance beam, where the Gladiators throw weighted blocking pads at the contenders.
And if they're lucky enough to make it this far, they have to work their way up a 20-foot cargo net. And then a fun part, a wild ride down a zip line, which will carry the contenders over the entire length of the arena floor. Then a final straightaway, where the contenders will make like Jackie Joyner-Kersee, going over a set of hurdles before the final choice, which door to take. Behind 3 of those doors are American Gladiators, all determined to stop the contenders from crossing the finish line.
And Maria leads Cinda by 10 coming in, meaning that Cinda will have to win the Eliminator by 5 seconds to advance. Keep in mind that the women have 75 seconds to finish, with each second left on the clock worth 2 points.
And, Larry, penalty points are subtracted for each fall along the way. Loser goes home, winner faces Trish Tillotson in the final. Up the ramp they go, side by side, across the handbike. Pumping, straining, they're at the platform, now across the balance beam.
Cinda falls a little bit from the balance beam and eats a little bit of the mat, but comes right back up on her feet.
Cinda now with the slight edge. Remember, to advance to the final, Cinda needs to win by more than 5 seconds.
Cinda will cross first. She needs to beat Maria by 5 seconds. Here comes Maria. And no, Maria finishes in time. 46 seconds to Cinda's 42. So Maria will advance to the final.
I don't think a competition could have come any closer than it did between Maria and Cinda. Cinda, you needed to win by 5 seconds going into this eliminator final. You won by 4 seconds. You fell 2 points short in the overall total, and it's really a shame because if anybody deserves to go on, it's certainly you in terms of just your athletic skill and your ability to handle adversity.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I just gave it my best. I just gave everything I had, and it just wasn't enough. Came close, but...
Have you learned anything about yourself as an athlete and as a person on the show, do you think?
Well, going up against people like Ice, I think I learned that I'm really not afraid of too many things. Because if I can go against her and I can look her in the eye, then I think I'm pretty tough.
I think you're pretty tough, Cindy. Not only did you look Ice in the eye, you looked us all in the eye, too. And what we saw was one heck of a competitor, one heck of a person. Congratulations. Thanks for being with us. And no longer will they call you Toothpick. You are a real slugger. Maria, I know you care a great deal about that woman over there. Just your thoughts against competing against Cinda.
She's an exceptional athlete, and I knew I either had to stay with her or stay ahead of her to win because she never slacks off. She doesn't seem to get tired. So, like she proved in the eliminator, so I knew I had to stay a step ahead. And luckily, I did that today.
Congratulations, Maria. You're going on to the finals. Great job, Maria Nickting.
And Maria Nickting sets a new scoring record in advancing to our final round. Over the men's, Chris Leach, John, by a commanding 21 points in our semifinals.